Welcome to another episode of Cleaning and Cocktails. I always say we got something special. We really have something special here. This is going to be the first ever kind of flip here. So I got Drew Larison here with 5 Door Media, a friend of mine, a fellow industry expert in the cleaning industry. But I'm going to stop right there because Drew, I think I'm going to flip this to you now.
How many years has this podcast been going on?
2020, so almost 5 years now.
5 years. No one's ever interviewed you.
No.
Today we're going to change that.
I told you, special.
It is special. This is a very special day. And I am super pumped to be here, to be this inaugural host other than yourself on this episode. Thank you for asking me to come. We got a lot to talk about today. So the new Cleaning and Cocktails event coming up in Nashville, teamed up with the huge convention. It's going to be different. So I thought it'd be smart if we talk about it today, talk about how it's going to be different, talk about just cleaning and cocktails in general, and where it's been, where it is now. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about the things you've been telling me about the event that I'm excited about for a lot of people. But first off, I want to talk more about, and we're just diving in.
Yeah.
I want to know the story. Maybe a little bit of your story, but really the birth of Cleaning and Cocktails. Why did you start it? What was your vision for it when it started compared to where it's at now?
It's awesome for you to ask me because nobody's ever asked me. I mean, no, the people have asked.
I don't think anybody's ever asked you any questions.
I get so focused on talking about everything, right? Even behind you see all the different brands, but Cleaning and Cocktails is something special because of how it came to be. So thank you for asking me that question, and I'm excited to share. So literally Cleaning and Cocktails, the concept started back in 2020, and I have to say this is, it wasn't because of COVID, because if you remember when COVID happened, I feel like the podcast era boomed because everybody was bored and we got to do something. But we launched in February. And where it came from is I was doing a walkthrough for the cleaning company for Regalado here in Chicago. I always get the hotel name wrong. I think it was Jones Hotel or something like that. But downtown Chicago, they call us to do a walkthrough. I go there, shameless plug, I'm using Route to do the walkthrough. But as I'm conducting the walkthrough, I get to the janitor closet. We know as cleaning companies, that's an important room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like to the manager, hey, can I get in there? I got to take some pictures, kind of get a lay of what the closet looks like. And the guy's like, oh, no, that's not a janitor closet anymore. It's actually a speakeasy bar. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? I love speakeasy bars. So I'm like, can I get in? He's like, yeah, for sure. It's closed. It doesn't open right now. It's only 12 o'clock. I'm like, oh, let me check it out. We walk in, it's very small. I mean, half the size of this room. It's intended for 8 people with the bartender, but it literally is the old janitor closet of the previous building of what it was used for. So you got the mop sink in the corner. You've got the broomsticks, the utility bar that you would attach all the broom. It's all there still. But then you see where they put the bar, they put the seats for you to sit. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, man, I've never seen this before. And I had just started getting infatuated with podcasts. I got listening to and watching them on YouTube. I'm like, this is perfect for a podcast. I'm just talking, rambling. This guy's like, dude, you're here to do, give me a quote for cleaning. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you
squirrel,
think?
Little squirrel.
Yeah. Boom, shiny object. And I'm like, do you mind can you connect me with anybody? Or is it you that I would talk to if I wanted to do, shoot something here or do a podcast? He's like, sure, what's your podcast? There is no podcast.
There is none.
I'm like, in the moment, literally, I'm like, Cleaning Cocktail. It's the name of the podcast is gonna be Cleaning and Cocktails. So, the emphasis is I'm going deep into the description of what does not exist.
For something that doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Anyways, just winged it, but ended up striking a good conversation. Came back, got the lay of the land of what we could shoot, and literally Cleaning and Cocktails was born a few weeks later. I was lucky enough. I've got my friends Juan, Mark. Saul, local here in Chicago. And I was like, you guys, would you mind coming? I'm going to do a podcast. I want to interview you guys. I know you guys. And literally 2 weeks later, mid-February, we shoot our first ever podcast. I had no idea what I was doing. If you go back to the first episode, you even see some of the footage. There was no editing done. The right, Jesus, you're so good. It was okay. It was done. It was a video. But dude, that is where it was born. Winged it, the idea, the name has stuck now. And it really just came from that moment, which I think a lot of good things come is like when you don't plan for them, you just think of it in the moment. And we are here today.
I mean, so many stories start like that, where it was nothing but an idea and look what it's turned into. So it's one thing to create a podcast, right? And some podcasts, they do like live tours where they'll do a show while recording a podcast live, but you went a different direction with the events that you guys do, We're Cleaning Cocktails events. So like, tell me, how did that idea come about? Was it, how old was the podcast? Did you have a good audience where you're like, maybe we should do this, take this brand that we've built through Cleaning Cocktails and actually put on live events?
Yeah, man. So another great question. You know what? This is awesome. I'm just going to sit back and answer questions here. Dude, so we shot 2 episodes. So the whole emphasis was, I like live. I like in person. That was just and to this day, you see why I love this part more because of the emotions and the feelings. And then COVID happened. So like 2 weeks into shooting, we did back-to-back week episodes. COVID happens. The hotel shuts down. There goes my dream. I cannot shoot. I've never been back there since February 2020. They shut down. So then we went to, I was like, man, I still like this though. And I think it's a good idea. And there wasn't as many cleaning industry podcasts, especially for commercial. I had seen a few residential, but nothing for commercial. So I'm like, I like it. I've got a good network. I've got people I know. I've got people I would interview. I'm just going to keep this going. Like the emphasis was let's spotlight cleaning business owners and share their stories. That was it. It's clean, as simple as that. So then I just went to Zoom and I went to Google Meets, Zoom recordings. Again, if you see the earlier videos in YouTube, you'll see like the transition from, we went from in person to probably 18 months of Zoom and Riverside videos. And then we get the news that we can get back into real life events and real life scenarios. And a lot of the podcast started to grow as far as listeners and viewers. And a lot of the people, then I went to Facebook groups and that's where I would post all my, I had 2 groups. I would post all the videos and the episodes. And they're like, dude, I'd love to meet some of these people. Like, could you put something together? And I was like, oh, I've never done an event before, but like,
you also never did a podcast.
Never did a podcast before. So I'm like, let's do it. Why not? Cleaning Cocktails. And like the catchphrase, right, is like where cleaners connect. And I was like, I have a beautiful office here in Chicago. Chicago's a great city to visit. But literally in 3 weeks, we went from an idea of throwing an event, pushed it on social media. 3 weeks later, we have Cleaning Cocktails #1. And we had over 100 cleaning companies show up here to the office. And mind you, probably 8 of them were from Chicago. So the rest were from all over the country. And that's where we had no idea what we were doing. We lost a shit ton of money, paid for a lot of food, paid for drinks, but we didn't pay for a venue because we did it here, right? Badges, we just made them the night before. Like I could tell you everything we learned from that first event, but the thing that I think hit Drew was it was comforting. It was here. We opened up our doors and cleaning company owners to this day respected like, man, you let us into your home. Like we love this. Whatever you do, we're gonna be a part of. And then that just led to now doing bigger and better events.
Something, because I've been listening to a lot of the podcasts like up until today, and like that's a trend or a theme I keep hearing from people too, talking about there's really no competitors in this world. And in your mind, right? Like you really look at everybody in this industry, you can learn something from anybody if we have like that mindset of, I mean, you literally invited people, which you're national, you know what I mean? So you invited people all over the country to come into your space, right? But what about a live event do you think is so special to people in this industry? You know, because we do live in a Zoom world, right? Where you can jump on a webinar, you can jump on an online training. Why in person? Like, why do you think that makes such a big impact, not just for this event, but just events in general for this specific industry?
I think there's something about in real person connections. I think the way you connect with another person in real time, in person, is so different than virtual. I even prefer in-person meetings sometimes because I really like if there's something that I want to get out of this relationship and I want to meet with, like me and you could have done this over Zoom. I was like, nah, Drew, I'd like to do this in person. Can you come out here? Like, dude, and it's just it hits different. And I think you connect on a different level. You get to know the person, you get to know their mannerisms, you get to know them just in a different environment than on digital. Nothing wrong with virtual. I've been asked many times, can you do a live stream? I'm like, yeah, we could, but it loses touch of what we're trying to do. And I think there's just something different with in person, man. I think there's value to be had by connecting with somebody in person.
Yeah, and I think because I go to a lot of home service industry events like across the country, and it never fails. The seats you sit in during the day, like that's where a lot of learning happens, right? From speakers or panels or anything like that. But it's the conversation afterwards, maybe at the bar or at the restaurant or at the networking events. Like that's where that connection happens, where that's the stuff like you talk about when you go home.
Yeah.
Right? So I think you're right about that. Connection is a big deal to you at these events. Give me like your top favorite story of whether a connection you made at one of these events or maybe a story you heard later that a cleaning cocktails event like helped something happen or helped something go.
Oh man, there's so many stories, man. Something that I feel is a compliment. And again, others will look at it as competition. I'm like, dude, you guys you're just so wrong, in my opinion. But we can say that we probably have 9 to 10 early attendees from 1, 2, and 3, because I think total we've had 5 events. 1, 2, and 3. A lot of those attendees had this impact on them from our event that they've gone on to do their own events. So now they are building a community from coming to our first or second or third event. Dude, that's a huge compliment. Like I feel like because we unlocked that feeling of like anybody can do this, man, right? Like you just have to have, a great team around you, a purpose behind what you're doing it, the why behind it. And you will have your pack, your people that will follow you and the community that you'll build. And that's been a huge compliment. We've had endless amount of contracts and deals done with attendees. We've had mergers and acquisitions. Like one of our operations managers came to our first event and we absorbed his company. He's from Bloomington Normal, Charles, and he was here. He came to our first event and he got to know who we were. And he reached out and said, hey man, I'd love to join you guys and have you acquire my company and be a part of your family. That wouldn't have happened if he didn't come. I have connections, like we've connected through the people that I connected from them coming to our event. So
Ripple.
It's this network effect that if you just add value and show value, like, dude, it's a wildfire. And it's been amazing to see others do what they're doing coming from where we started event 1.
Yeah. So this event coming up in Nashville, as you can see behind us, the theme, the name is Raise the Bar, right? So there's a feeling about this event that just instantly feels different than the ones in the past.
Yeah.
What is that? What do you want to accomplish maybe at this event that you haven't at others? And what bar are we raising?
Yeah. So I would tell you the word or the feeling I want people to have or you to have or anybody that's watching to have is intentionality. We've been super intentional with this event. The other events, don't get me wrong, they've been great. I love them. They were exciting. But I think they were just the standard type of event where we have some big name speakers, we have the agenda, you have certain sessions for every aspect of the business. But then when you take a step back, that's a lot to unpack. Mm-hmm. You've got marketing, HR, SEO, web design, technology, recruiting, ops, sales. Dude, you could have a 5-day event, but what is the attendee going to take away? Mm-hmm. So I challenged the team and I was like, man, what could we stick to and like go a mile deep versus a mile wide and like really hit home something? And we thought of, well, what is Route about? Because one thing I've always failed to do, Drew, is actually promote Route and sell Route, like as far as like, this is what Route is about. And I was like, but I don't like to do that. I don't like to sell Route at the events. But indirectly, what we could do is speak about it if the theme of the event speaks to what we're building, which is subcontracting, which is scaling into other markets, which is sales. Like I believe in with a cleaning company owner, you need to be thinking about sales, staff, strategy. Well, there's a lot of staffing stuff out there. There's a lot of strategy events. Let's just worry about sales. Because sales cures everything, that, right? Like
cash solves all.
Cash solves all. And it allows you to reinvest in yourself and go to other events, go invest into your team, into your business. So we really wanted to say, well, what is that then? Everything's going to evolve around sales subcontracting. And if we're going to raise the bar, what's different about this event, which is the deal bar that we're going to bring to the table?
That literally is my next question.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the deal bar. So this is when
How
you...
fun does that sound? The deal bar.
It's great. And honestly, when you were talking about the opening story of how this whole thing was made was at literally a bar, and I'm like, man, this really is, it's perfect, right? So you started off in this speakeasy bar. Now we're talking about the deal bar. So like
Full circle.
let's talk about the deal bar. Because when you were explaining this to me, I'm like, I've been to a lot of conventions and conferences. I've never seen something this intentional at a conference before. This idea, as intentional as this is. What is the deal bar?
Yeah, man. So super pumped about it. Like, again, I'm not reinventing the concept itself, though. The concept is matchmaking. Like I give the example of, I've done it where, here in Chicago, there'll be corporations like ComEd, Comcast, People's Gas, Nicor Gas, like they're these big corporations and they host procurement meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So as I attended those, I was a vendor of many, and I would sit around with you and pitch myself to you as a corporation. And I'm a minority-owned contractor. I'd love to do business with you. I'm like, well, man, there's so much business between prime and subs. Has anybody ever sat a prime down with a sub and let them interview in person? Better than hey, let me apply to be part of your vendor network. That's all existed, but this was...
That's probably happened like accidentally.
Oh, yeah.
Not like intentionally.
Not intentionally, where it's like, no, we're going to sit you down with primes. Because the other part that is you never can get primes to sit down together. Why? Because they are competitors. Right? Like you think about the big names in this industry, they compete. They don't really want to sit and like share an opportunity when their competitors right around the corner. So I had to be careful with that, which again, the another intentional piece was, like I showed you, the map. Let's have 9 primes from 9 regions of the country. So they're only focused on that region that they want to grow. So they don't have to worry about like, man, Drew's here from so-and-so. Yeah, but he's focused on that part of the market today.
Yeah.
So we're not competing, right? Dude, and they all accepted. Like the primes that I reached out to one-on-one, because that's what was different here is this is not about selling them to come. It's showing them why they should come. And that was one side. The subs, you're not just going to be able to buy a ticket and get a seat at the table, right? Trust me, I'd love for everybody to be able to have a seat at the table, but are you qualified? Are you ready? Are you business ready to do business with a prime who's going to have high expectations and standards? Because if we want to reinvent the world of subcontracting, which is our purpose with Route, like we have to step it up and professionalize. We got to raise the bar of professionalism because we are no longer the industry where if they look at subcontracting, again, this is all commercial, Drew, but they look at subcontracting as like, oh, we don't trust it. It's not professional. They're going to show up with a mop bucket and a vacuum and not in a uniform. Like, dude, they have this whole stigma.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we're going to show up. And this is how we're going to show up at the deal bar by raising the bar and elevating who we are as business owners.
So let's say someone is at this event and this entire concept is very new to them. Why now? Why is it a good idea for them now to start thinking this way? That like this makes sense for them to move in this direction with prime sub, like that whole conversation, and like having them start to look at themselves not just as locally, like operating locally, they could be all over.
Yeah.
Why now?
We'll do that. So one of the sessions at the event is gonna speak to that, where it's like we all have ambitions and we want to grow our business. Like this word scale, it means so much, right? Like to me, scale was like expand into new markets, expand across the country. But sometimes you don't even know what's potential in your backyard. So one of the things is if you really want to scale, I believe, this is my opinion, is you have to self-perform here in Chicago, like us, again, put myself in cleaning business ownership shoes. We have 100, 300 plus employees here in Chicago. We self-perform a lot, meaning we service our own accounts with our W-2 employees. But if we're going to grow into Milwaukee, Dallas, St. Louis, Indianapolis, we may not have boots on the ground and supervision, but that doesn't mean we have to say no to opportunities. Our clients here in Chicago may say, hey, I love working with you. I'd love to work with you in Indianapolis. Pre-understanding what subcontracting was, I would tell you there's no way. Like I have no employees there. How am I gonna, I'm scared. No, it's risky. I can't do it. Embrace this model, but in this way, and this is where we're gonna talk a lot about it there, is you could say yes. I said yes. I didn't know the model yet, but I said yes because I had ambitions to grow my business. I wanted to be a $5, $10, $20, $30 million business. that's hard to capture all that business in one city. Your
No
market,
matter how big the city
no
is.
matter how
Yeah.
big the city is. Here in Chicago, I'm not union. A lot of business here is union. So I have to go out other markets to find that business. You'd be surprised what you could do if you find good trusted partners.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is it's the conversation of just having a growth mindset. And I think any business owner you have a conversation with and ask them, do you have a growth mindset? Rarely is someone going to be like, no. I mean, we all say it, right? We all believe that we want to grow. We want to have this mindset of growth and abundance and things like that. But a lot of times we're afraid to take the steps that it's actually going to take to, grow and to have that true mindset.
Yeah.
So tell me about more of that story when you first started doing this, because I love that you're coming at this. You have both, right? You do have that local, but then you also do outside as well.
Yeah.
And you have all these 30 cities you're in now. Tell me like your personal journey of like getting to that mindset and opening up to like, okay, maybe we do try this. Because it is scary. I mean, like you were talking about, like, how am I going to be in Indianapolis? It's 3 hours. I don't know anybody in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
So it's a scary, another leap of faith of entrepreneurism. But like, tell me about how you got there that maybe somebody listening could relate to. Like, okay, maybe I think I could do it.
Yeah, dude, it was super scary. So I vividly remember we're here in Chicago. We have a client that's growing at a very fast pace. And we're at like clinic 13, 14 just here. And then we hear news from our contact within. He's like, hey, we're going to be going to Michigan and Indiana. I'm like, I still want it though. Like, where are you going though? Like, tell me where you're going. And it was, I think our case is a little unique because they included us in their growth. And they told us the cities they were going in, when they were going, and they actually gave us a little time. And he's like, it's yours if you want it. But like, Rick, can you do it though? You're here in Chicago. I'm like, all right, well, let me Google this subcontracting. Hold on, real quick, give me a couple of weeks. I'm gonna get this done. He's like, you have a week. And then we're going into, you're gonna have to get prepared because then the goal is we want you there from post-construction on. And I'm like, all right, well, we've done post-construction cleaning here. Well, again, we've done that model here. So I'm like, all right, I could do this. So me and my wife, and then Tony and some of the team, I'm Googling commercial cleaning companies in Detroit. Boom.
Literally all starts with a Google search.
Good, done.
Right?
It started with a Google search, but we are a better solution for that on the road side. But so we started with a Google search. We saw companies. We would reach out to them. Half of them didn't respond because I think I just wasn't approaching it the right way. But then I got lucky on Facebook. I started posting in some groups, and I would get a hotel room and a conference room, and I would go to the city and set up interviews, just like you would for employees. It's the same approach, but I was just meeting with cleaning companies. And I did some research, like how do you talk to a sub? What can or can't you do? And to the best of the ability, I had my checklist. And then I would trust this person that owns this cleaning company with the keys. I would train them to a degree because you can't train them, but I trained the owner. And a lot of it was just, I was learning on the fly. But it was luckily that it was Detroit, Indianapolis, because it was drive time. So I could drive 3 hours. And when shit did hit the fan, I would go back 3 hours and pick up the keys and stay there for a few days and clean. But we started to figure out the type of business owner that we needed, mindset, the type of company we needed. We were big on maps. So we would see where the location was and we would figure out the radius. Like we started to figure it out. And I knew if I wanted to keep this client and grow with them, we needed to figure it out. So it took us, for the first 2 years, we went to Detroit, Indianapolis, what else? Philadelphia, Missouri, and Ohio. And those were the next states. But like we were first. We would go, show up, get a hotel room. Go, show up, get a hotel. Like we had the process down. But I'll tell you, it took probably 2 years to feel really good about it. Like think we had a plan, like we had it down. We used technology, time and attendance, photos. Like with tech, you could to a degree manage visibility, but like we quickly embraced technology. That was going to be the only way. Because other than that, it was just like, hey, are you at the account?
A lot of travel time.
Are you there? Cool. Just call me when you're done. Sounds good? Okay, cool. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
That was what we were scared of, but tech helped solve that real quick.
So there are a million stop points or like hurdles that are probably going through people's brain right now, thinking about like, oh, what if this happens? What if this happens? And I think we talked about the magic of live events earlier, but I think that's the best part about live events, whether it's a conference like this or a mastermind even, is they're going to be able to sit in a room and hear from people that this is what they do.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So like all of those questions that they might have, that those hurdles that are in their head, like how are we going to jump over this? There are answers for all of those already in this world, and they're going to be in this room, right?
Oh, yeah.
So practically tell me, someone sits down at the deal bar, what is that like? If all the way from someone who's never done something like this before, all the way to somebody, this is something they're doing, they're just looking for a better experience.
All right. So I'm gonna lay it out here. All right. So because this is what I'm excited about, is this is our first chance. I feel like people have talked about improving the business of subcontracting, but like we don't do anything about it. So this was our first chance to say, let's bring primes together with subs at different levels. So you got companies, Drew, that are going to be 500 million or larger, 100 million to 500 million, 50 to 100, 25 to 50, 0 to 25. I'm talking the full gamut. All sizes will be there. In a snapshot though, we all have somewhat similar standards. We just want great communication, be professional, care about the account that you're servicing, because at the end of the day, the end customer is who we all need to work for. And remember, don't forget that the prime is your client. So I've been a sub. I am a sub still. I'm a sub for another company. So that also is a big thing, is don't think that subcontractor equals small. That does not mean that. Like there'll be companies there that are 50 million in revenue. They are a sub for another larger company. So don't ever forget the sub mindset. But when you're, the goal of this event is to professionalize and improve the way they do business. Have a COI, have a W-9, understand what an org chart looks like, understand what an inspection report looks like, understand that if you're the owner, what is your game plan if your cleaner calls off? Something as simple as that. Your answer should be like, what are you strategically going to do to help? Because a prime needs to have confidence in you. Flip the script. Primes, treat the sub with respect. Pay them on time. Set them up for success. Help them buy supplies better. So not that the primes don't know that, but some primes, dude, they're guilty of like, here, Drew, here's the contract. Hey, good luck. Do a good job for me. And don't forget to send me the invoice at the end of the month. What is that? That's not a partnership. So there's a fine line on how you can work with the sub, right? There's always that employer to employee issue, but there's nothing that says you can't mentor and help subs grow, because there's some primes that'll be there that, think about this stat. There's 1.2 million cleaning companies in America. Carve out percentage for residential, carve out a percentage for specialty, and carve out like a sole proprietor, one person who's the cleaning company. You'll leave that to like 600,000 cleaning companies. 93% of those companies don't get past $1 million in revenue, right? That's fragmentation. But there's some primes that will be there that have 10 to 15 subs that they've sent $1 million plus revenue to business. They've changed the trajectory right there of that business owner. That's the potential you have at this event, is to do business with people that want to give you more business, but you got a job to do at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're not, yes, you're peers, but don't forget that from a sub perspective, the prime is your client, but the prime, don't forget that that sub is somebody you need to treat with respect as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that classic golden rule, right?
Yeah.
Treat others the way you'd want to be treated, right? And that relationships are built off of that. So obviously the deal bar is a big part of this event. It's a unique part about this event that has never been done before. What else can people expect at this event this time around? Because I know there's a lot more than just the deal bar going on. Yeah.
So I just realized I didn't really describe the deal bar, so I'm going to come back to it. I talk a lot. So here, the deal bar, back to that, your point before I go to the agenda. Picture this, there's going to be 9 round tables. Each round table is going to have a custom look and feel to whatever that prime's logo and colors are. So again, we want to customize the approach. And the 9 primes that will be there will represent all the different regions in the country. So like, let's say it's like Atlantic, Mid-Atlantic, Southeast Central, New England, all these different markets. There'll be one prime for each one. And they're going to have 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon. In the morning, there'll be 4 to 5 subs that will interview with the prime. So it'll be kind of like this, where you're a prime, you may have 2 to 3 people from your team that handle this process. The sub gets 15 minutes to interview. So pitch yourself, right? Why is it that in the tech world there's these pitch competitions and 5-minute pitches?
Yeah.
As a sub, pitch your cleaning company to this prime, vice versa. Prime, pitch yourself why a sub should want to work with you. So again, in person, in real time interview process. But the catch too is just because you buy a ticket doesn't mean you qualify to have a seat at the table. So you're also going to have to apply. So we have an application process. You have to upload your COI W-9. You have to tell us a little bit about your company, what services you offer, what's your availability. Could you start an account in 2 weeks? And things like that. So you have to build a profile. Do you have a sample of an invoice that you created? Do you have a sample of an inspection report? These things will make you stand out for a prime. Vice versa. And then you have to shoot. This is optional, but I would tell you, shoot it because this is important. You'll stand out more. We're asking for you to shoot a video, 30 to 90-second video of pitching yourself to this prime. So when you get to the table, they already know you. Like think about the whole TV show and Shark Tank perspective is by the time they get to the show, like they know that company already. They like that company. Something stood out to them in that interview or application process that they want to meet that company. Same thing is what we want. Is we want you to stand out and just gain confidence on how to pitch your business. Prime, same thing. Pitch yourself. Tell us what market you're in. What market are you trying to grow? What verticals are you looking for a sub? What special services are you looking for? Because it's a two-way street. So you both have to come ready. So that's an emphasis. That's the deal bar. That's where we hope that deals are done, handshakes are done, and when you leave, months later, you come back and say, Drew, thanks for inviting me to the deal bar, man. Dude, I got a $10,000 a month contract from the prime that I interviewed. When have you ever gone to an event that you could say that?
Yeah.
So that's the deal bar.
Yeah, usually at an event like that, revenue is not really the goal from the event, right? It's learning.
You're spending money.
We level up. We're spending money, right? Yeah. I love that. So what else is this event going to have to offer? Because I mean, that's a level of intentionality. I don't, like I said, I've never seen that at an event, but like there's other things going on too.
Yeah, we'll have other things. So it's a full day of programming. So what we've always done before, Drew, I know this will be the first time you come into one of ours there like that. Or no, you were in San Jose. So remember the welcome reception?
Yeah.
We're going to have the welcome reception on Tuesday night. Again, that's on purpose, break the ice.
Yeah.
So that when I see you on the next day, we've already met. We've already talked. Because it is somewhat intimidating too to go to these events and you've never been to one and like you got 100 people and you're like, who do I say hi to first? Over a couple cocktails the night before, you've already said hi to about 10 people. So you're good. Then the day of programming, we kick off with, I'm going to share more of this story that I kind of talked to you about here is how did Regalado go from local to regional to national? The ups and downs. The moment that I almost had a sub steal accounts, because that's something you always think about is, will a sub steal an account? I'm going to talk about an actual scenario. I won't name names, but I'll talk about the scenario. But the point of it being is in 7 years, it happened once, potentially, because I had a good relationship with the client. So that's why don't worry about what could happen. Take care of what you control, your client relationship. So we'll talk about that. We'll do the deal bar. While the deal bar is happening, because the one thing you got to remember is if we have 100 cleaning companies, not everybody's going to get a chance to sit at the table, unfortunately, but that's okay. That's why there's 2 sessions. Is while that's happening, we're going to have a couple speakers talk about being business ready. What should your COI look like? What does net terms look like? If I get paid bi-weekly, is there a discount I get on an invoice? What about supplies? How should I do inspections? Like, how are you going to be business ready as a sub to do business with a prime? We're going to share a lot of that. Then we're going to talk about market analysis and knowing where you serve. So I kind of touched on this earlier where sometimes we don't even know what's in our backyard. As far as if we have aspirations to grow, understand that if your ideal customer profile is a medical facility and a daycare, how many of those are in my backyard? How many of those can I get? What's the monthly average service charge? And just with that alone, can I get to my goal? If I can't, where should I go next then? So we're going to talk about that, break that down, go on a couple breaks. Then we'll do a lunch and learn. So we have a lot of great sponsors. I don't want to say a shout out because I might miss a name. So a lot of great sponsors. I will share sponsors later. But I want to give them intentionality as well. So we're going to do a lunch and learn. We're at lunch for 1 hour. We're going to put cleaning company owners and attendees at their tables, give them an hour to share who they are, what their value add is. And like from dusk till dawn style, close the doors, can't go anywhere. Don't fucking don't tell me you got a meeting somewhere, you got to take a call, shut it down. 12 to 1, you're giving the respect to the sponsors who helped us put this on, so just give them some time. Let them, instead of the traditional, they have the tables on the side or the booths, you may or may not interact. Like, no, we're gonna give you 1 hour with 6 to 8 real prospects versus handshakes. Come back to the next afternoon, then we're gonna have the, what is it called? I forget the session. Trying to blank. It is the panel. I should know the name, but it's a panel discussion on the risk and reward of subcontracting. So we're going to have a prime contractor, a subcontractor, a property manager. I'm weighing the option of a workman's comp insurance agent because I have to find the right personality. And I'm going to share the risk and rewards about asking them their perspective. Property managers, for example, not all like subcontracting. They're like, can you control and manage your sub? I don't like knowing that I'm giving you an account where you, the owner of the contract, is not going to be there. Let's talk about what's the risk of that, but then also what's the reward? Because when it does work, that property manager could give you even more contracts.
Yeah.
So that's going to be that panel. And then we're going to talk about the deal bar is going to happen again for the second session. And then we didn't want to talk too much about tech, but I thought there was a much needed point to talk about AI. So we have a pretty cool AI tool with RFPs and how to upload multi-location accounts. So we're going to share that in real time. So imagine like a 150-foot screen in front of all the attendees and me, Matesh, Big Don from our team. We're going to have a real RFP and deconstruct it to then reconstruct the proposal in 30 minutes.
Wow.
So the power of it AI is not going to do everything for us. Like we still have to incorporate what's our production time, what's our hourly rate that we pay out, what's our SOP, and really make it custom to show people that if you embrace AI, dude, in 30 minutes, I did what you used to take 3 weeks to do. I was there, that I know it firsthand. And then we're going to end with the signature pour, which is a state of the industry. So I have some big name, or Mike Fitz from 4M, Frank Wierzinski from the facilities group. And I think Joe Frey is going to come on from Cummins, where we're going to talk about the State of the Union, the presidential State of the Union address. This is going to be state of the industry, where why not sit there and listen, intimacy, cocktails, lights are drawn out. We focus on who's up there on stage and hear from them on their strategies. Where's the industry going? What's their strategies? How big could we get? What's like big, audacious, hairy fucking goals where it's like, damn, that's a $300 million company, $700 million company, $50 million company. And like, they're there. They all started somewhere. Like, let's end with that, right? And then that wraps up the event. And we go over to the huge welcome party.
Well, let's talk about that real quick too. So this is unique as well this year, is a partnership with the Huge. Is that what it's officially being labeled as? How did that come about and how's that all tie together?
Yeah, so Mike is a good friend. I met Mike Dalkey with John Disselkamp, and they both own Blue Skies Accounting. And they had come over to do a podcast here about a year ago. And Mike was we were shooting the shit. He's like, Rick, you know what one thing we don't have at Huge that I'd love to have is the commercial side. Like, how do we bring the commercial side? I'm like, like he intentionally did that though. Because I was like, I don't know.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a good idea. He's like, why don't you bring cleaning and cocktails to Huge? I was like, I just told the team we weren't going to do events like that anymore, but yeah, sure, let's do it. And we just hit it off. And I love, like, he is a very systemized and structured, organized guy. And I was like, help me with this, this, and this, and I'm down. I'll do it. And that's literally where it came from, is like, just bring your show here. We'll still do ours, but you could be the bridge between commercial and home services.
Yeah.
And everybody benefits. And I really liked it because I kept hearing from primes is the prime contractors, you think of a large janitorial company, they're a janitorial services company first. They don't necessarily do the high-rise window washing, the pressure washing, terrazzo floor cleaning, epoxy. Well, that's who Mike's gonna have at their event. So again, I was like, man, it just makes sense. Like, let's connect the dots. They can be subs for the primes. The primes can find and connect with local, smaller companies. And I was just like, it's a no-brainer. Let's do it. Yeah, that's where it came from.
I was talking to you a few weeks back, and I said, this is like my third huge that I've gone to. And I was trying to talk to some of our cleaning clients to come last year, but they didn't get the vibe that it was for cleaning companies. It was like those pressure washing companies, and like a lot of window washing is a big, niche that goes with the huge as well. So they didn't come, but now cleaning cocktails is coming. Like they're like, oh, now I belong. Like there's going to be some more of my people there at this. So like I'll go to that, and then I'll stay for the huge as well. So that was I think I messaged you like right off the bat.
away.
I'm like, oh man, you don't know, or maybe you did. I don't know. Like this is going to bring more people to the huge as well that we're missing because they didn't feel like at home.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
They didn't feel at home like being at that event, and now this is going to help them be there. So
well, and it's by accident, yes, because I was thinking of, I had assumed there was a lot of residential cleaning that would go, but to your point, when Mike shared some of the prospectus of like what the attendees look like, he's like, no, we don't have as much as we'd like. So he's like, again, Rick, it's not just commercial either. It's residential. I was telling you is there's a lot of residential cleaning companies that want to add commercial, but they don't have that connection to the commercial side. Well, guess what? That's what we're there for. Is we'll help you understand how to add that to your portfolio, because I believe residential cleaning business owners are ideal to launch a commercial side because they've done the hard work, man. Like they're detail oriented. They are very client centric. They care about the homeowner so much that when you get to commercial, I don't want to tell you to get lazier, but like it's the scope of work is a lot lighter. Yeah. So if you pay the attention that you do here and here, you're set up for success. I mean, I would argue though, you need help and you need a counterpart to probably run the commercial side, but like they're the ideal subcontractors. Like they got it down. They know what route work is, because a lot of times when we sub out, it's smaller multi-location accounts scattered. They understand that. They know what it is to get into a car, drive somewhere, clean, and their trunk is their supply closet. Like commercial clients that start commercial first, it's hard for them to come back and think of, wait a minute, so I got to put my supplies in the trunk? Where's my closet? It's like, no, your van is your closet. So again, I think there's something there where if the dots are connected the right way, a lot of residential companies can benefit from teaming up with commercial clients or commercial customers as well.
100%. Couldn't agree more. All right, so we talked about the deal bar. You got to have your 5, 10, 15-minute tall building elevator speech, right? You're going to be pitching yourselves. Let's act like this is the deal bar right now. On the other side are the people watching this that are still trying to make up their mind if they want to come to the event. Give them your pitch. Why should they be at this Cleaning and Cocktails?
All right. So the reason why you guys should come to Cleaning and Cocktails is get a seat at the table, get a number, get the opportunity to do something about what you're trying to do. Because a lot of times we're looking for leads, we're looking for opportunities, we're looking for a chance to grow our businesses. I'm telling you, I'm trying to do the best I can to curate the best and ultimate experience for you guys to come. Not only learn, because it's not, I mean, learning is one thing, implementing is another thing, but real deals, real opportunities, that changes the trajectory for you as a business owner. And the fact that, again, this is a community. We are there to help you. We are there to empower, not just through community, but through tech, data, people, culture. It's a ticket you want to get, because it's not just about the deals too, though. It's the people like Drew is going to be there. People like Mike Delkey from Huge Convention. The fact that he opened up his doors tells you, I think we're onto something. I think leads and opportunities like this don't come too often. And to be able to be in the room, I mean, I talk about your network is your net worth. This is the network you want to be a part of. Because, I mean, it's something that could be a pivotal point in your business and wherever you are in business. You always need opportunities. And what better than a lead and a contract and a sale and a relationship to really kind of take you off to the next level.
Love it.
And raise the bar.
Raise the bar. All right. I'm a marketer, so I've got to have a call to action.
Yeah.
How do people find out more about the event? How do they sign up? Where do they go?
Go to cleaningandcocktails.com. I'll give you a shameless plug for Drew15. Use Drew15 code.
Oh, big deal.
Drew15's got a code. But yeah, get your tickets. We got early bird tickets right now. The hotel booking link, it's a great hotel discount too. It's at the Gaylord Opryland. It's a beautiful resort. I would also tell you, bring your family. right? Like that's one thing I was telling you too, is like this resort is a family-friendly resort.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of times we're like, oh, I can't get away from the family, or I've got this, I've got that. Trust me, yes, you can. Bring them. They'll actually thank you and say they want to come to more business trips. But yeah, cleancocktails.com, sign up, get your tickets, because we only have room for 125 companies. We're at, I think, 30 already within the past week that we started opening up the tickets. The sponsors are going to be great. The people are going to be great. The sessions are going to be great. So yeah, take action.
Yeah.
Let's take some action.
I will say bringing your kids to this event sets the bar pretty high. There's like a water park.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest water park for a non-casino hotel.
It's absurd. Yeah. And like, the hotel in general is a really cool thing. All right, last question. The event is over. Everything's a success. Millions of dollars at the deal bar have been made. What cocktail are you sipping to celebrate the event?
Oh man, I do a mezcal old fashioned.
There it is.
That is it.
Awesome.
So Drew, should we tell everybody where to catch us?
Where to catch us?
Yeah.
At the deal bar?
Catch us at the deal bar.
Yeah.